Welcome to Two Doctors Homestead. My name's Daniel, and this is some Texas summer. I'll call it. It is a hot day, and I'm not in the shade, so we'll see how long we last, how long before the camera overheats today. I want to talk about fruit trees. We've talked about gardening for self-sufficiency, for survival, for post-apocalyptic thriving, right? You grow your own food, and that's kind of important to long-term sustainability, even if you just want to be self-sufficient, right? Try to grow some of your own food. And I've talked about different aspects of gardening, but I haven't really dug in too much into fruit trees. And Magic Prepper did a video where he showed his 100 plum trees, and I was kind of inspired on that to do the math. We've got about 20 fruit trees, and this year I planted 4 more peach trees, and these are Red Haven peaches. And when you're looking at peach trees, they're good for zones, I think it was 4 through 9, but there's a lot of different varieties, so you want to see what's out there. But I wouldn't overlook the value of fruit trees. We've got apples, we have peaches and pears and persimmons. They're all great. The advantage of fruit trees, of course, is they produce a lot of fruit, and unlike gardening, there's less manual labor, right? Peach trees, you still have to prune them once a year, but you're not in there weeding a garden every year trying to grow your food. Once the trees are established, they're just going to continue to produce, right? And there's certainly a lot of value to that in terms of low maintenance, ongoing food, and they produce shade. So these guys are still baby trees. We just got them in the ground. If they were taller, I'd get that shade I could use, and I wouldn't quite be frying out here in the sun. So shade is a big factor. Set in long-term low maintenance. Once you've got your orchard set up, and obviously you need a little bit of land. Clearly, if you're in an apartment, and I grew up in apartments, you're not going to be growing your own fruit trees. Probably you could maybe do some lemons in containers or something, depends on the situation. You do need a little land, so we're blessed in that sense. We're fortunate that we were able to get some land to plant our trees on. But the first thing we did when we got here was start planting fruit trees, because they do take time, right? So you can look at time-wise, I think I had it 2 to 3 years for a peach tree to start growing fruit. These we bought, they were already grown a little bit, so you can see some peaches on them, see some yellow jackets eating my peaches, and that's just reality. The squirrels get them, the yellow jackets, the possums, the birds, the bunnies, though the bunnies aren't getting up in the tree. We got all sorts of critters that want to eat our fruit, and I generally don't mind too much, right? The trees are there. The trees have a lot of value. It just takes some time. You gotta be willing to plan ahead and get your trees in early. So I was looking at it. These are Red Haven peach trees, and really the question is, how much food is that, right? If you're planning out your being self-sufficiency, your survival 2,000 calorie a day diet, and you're like, hey, I got 5 peach trees, what's that? What does that really get you? What are you getting out of that long term? So a peach tree, and I looked it up, numbers are all over the place. I see 3 to 6 bushels of fruit. I see 48 pounds to 50 pounds per bushel. I see 100 to 150 pounds of fruit, which would be closer to that 3 bushels. So 3 to 6 bushels. So I did 2 numbers, kind of max and min or low end, and you can see 50 to 100 calories per peach and 50 to 65 peaches for 25 pounds. So what's that really mean, right? How many peaches is that? So if you do 50 calories per peach, you go low end, 50 peaches for 25 pounds. You do 3 bushels at 48 pounds a bushel. That works out to about 15,000 calories. So 1 tree, mature, 25 pounds, 50 peaches, 150 pounds of fruit is 1,500 calories. I'm sorry, 15,000 calories, which works out 7 to 10 days worth of food. So if you just wanted to live on your peach trees, you would need 52. You would need 52 peach trees to produce a year's worth of food. That's on the ultimate low end of the numbers. If you're pushing over to the high end of the numbers, which would be 100 calories per peach, 6 bushels of fruit per tree, now you're close to 78,000 calories, and that's going to get you 39 days. So, you know, if your plan is to live on fruit trees, you're talking 12 at the high end, 52 at the low end on peach trees. Well, once again, the advantage is they're pretty passive, right? You get shade, which is very good. We all need the shade. But you get that food just keeps coming back. Sure, you want to prune them, you want to take care of them, and they do need water. And hopefully, if you're in the right zone, you don't have to water them all the time. That could get tedious, right? Could take a lot of water in a situation if there's a grid down and you can't get to your well or something like that. You want things a little more self-sufficient, and that's what we go for here, is the self-sufficiency, right? So we get the trees, maybe you water them the first year, and after that they're on their own. They got to fend for themselves, and that's how the rest of my fruit trees are. We'll water them the first year or two, but then they're on their own. But once it's there, you've sort of banked, you know, it's an investment in just residual, right? Residual food. You got the peach tree, you get your peaches every year. We got an apple tree, we get our apples every year. It's just going to sit there and provide food for you. I consider low maintenance. So if you're just living on peaches, you know, the nutritional information, certainly you wouldn't want to just live on one of anything, but you're looking at 1 gram of protein for a peach. You've got fat, you have carbohydrates, you have sugar, fiber, vitamins. So the fruit itself does have a lot of nutritional value, right? Generally, fruit is going to be higher in natural sugars, and depending on your diet at the time, you may or may not want all those natural sugars, but in a survival situation, in a self-sufficiency situation, you're going on calories, right? It's certainly calories. Calories are going to get you there. Check your growing zone, right? And there's a lot of different kinds. I said a lot of different kinds of peach trees, a lot of different kinds of fruit trees. Figure out what works in your area. There's a tree farm we go to out here, and we talk to the guy at the tree farm, say what grows best, and that's how we ended up with the Red Havens. He's never really steered me too wrong, but it's just a good idea. It's a good idea to have that residual food supply, right? Certainly garden is important. We do garden when we can. We don't always garden every year. We didn't garden last year because it does take a lot of time to put a garden together. And last year, if you're following the videos, last year we were working on the turkey coop, and by the time I was done, turkey coop's just right there. By the time I was done with the turkey coop, it was too late. It was too late in the year to garden. It was just too hot outside, and we're kind of getting to that point now again here in Texas. We already started the garden, so the garden's in, it's growing, you know, and once again, anything, even the garden, the peach trees, whatever you're growing, figure out what works for your zone. So out here in the heat, peppers grow great. We can grow peppers all day, right? Peppers love the heat. So there's going to be food. There's probably, maybe not every spot on the earth, but depending on your zone, you've got to figure out what works for you, what kind of food you can grow. So want to throw that out there. Survival peaches, right? Millions of peaches for me. Get your survival peaches. Get some kind of self-sufficiency, some kind of food security. And I would not overlook fruit trees. It's going to take a couple years, right? So if you were hoping you plant your tree and you're good to go right away, it's long term, right? You got to plan long term, and peach trees, fruit trees are certainly a long term investment that I think will pay off. Will pay off absolutely over time once they get established. Make your jams, make your jellies, make your pies, your canned peaches, make whatever you want. So hope that helps out. I'm getting out of the heat here. I'm frying. Thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.